Hi, I'm David Schanzer from Duke University.
And I am Jessica Toliver from the Police Executive Research Forum.
This video presents the results from a research project, The Challenge and Promise of Using Community Policing Strategies to Prevent Violent Extremism. In 2011, the White House called for the development of partnerships between police departments in the United States and the communities they serve to build resilience against violent extremism, which is defined as ideological, motivated violence to advance a political cause. The purpose of the project is to determine the challenges police departments face in developing community policing programs to prevent violent extremism and identify promising practices that are being used by the police around the country. There are many different communities whose members are at risk of recruitment to violent extremism. Our project focused, however, on the interactions between police and Muslim Americans.
The project involved a nationwide survey and in-depth interviews with police officials, as well as site visits to police departments to learn about their practices firsthand. We also conducted focus groups with Muslim American community members to learn about their experiences and opinions.
Overall, we found that there are a number of difficult challenges that need to be overcome for police departments to build successful outreach and engagement programs with Muslim Americans and other communities whose members may be at risk of recruitment to violent extremism.
Nonetheless, we also identified a number of promising practices that we recommend be followed by police departments that are interested in implementing community outreach and engagement programs.
Let's begin with some of the challenges that police departments need to be aware of when starting up these type of community policing programs. First, it is important to recognize that Muslim Americans have endured difficult experiences since 9/11, including widespread societal discrimination, negative portrayals in the media, and increased level of hate crimes. These traumatic experiences present an obstacle to police departments attempting to develop a relationship based on trust. In addition, Muslim Americans feel that they have been assigned a collective responsibility to address extremism inspired by Al-Qaeda and ISIS, but other communities are not being asked to address other forms of violent extremism.
We also found that many Muslim Americans are concerned about the possibility that government agencies are conducting surveillance on them. Some of those we interviewed said they believed outreach and engagement efforts may be a subterfuge for surveillance.
Another difficulty is that most Muslim Americans we interviewed feel they have been harassed and treated unfairly at airport security and immigration checkpoints. Even though these are federal government responsibilities, these unpleasant experiences taint their perception, even of local police agencies.
Starting outreach and engagement programs is also a challenge for police agencies with tight budgets and competing demands. Since violent extremism is a rare event, it is not a top priority for many agencies that must focus their resources on addressing violent crime, drugs, gangs, and a host of other public safety issues.
Despite these obstacles, many policing agencies have made progress in establishing strong relationships with their Muslim American communities. These relationships can serve as a platform for honoring and respecting the human rights of Muslim American citizens, while at the same time advancing the community and national interest of preventing violent extremism.
Our research has identified a set of promising practices that we recommend for police departments working to start or strengthen their outreach and engagement efforts. First, we advocate a whole-of-community approach. Police departments should conduct outreach and engagement with all the communities and sub-communities that they serve and not focus exclusively on Muslim American communities. Recruitment to violent extremism can happen across a broad array of demographics and age groups. Your goal should be not only to build relationships with all the communities in your jurisdiction, but also to bring those sub-communities together to strengthen cohesiveness across the board.
Second, police should build relationships by focusing on the needs of the community. Ask communities what they are concerned about and what help they need. The process of developing solutions to public safety and other problems together will go a long way toward building relationships and trust.
Policing agencies should not start the process of building a relationship by focusing primarily on preventing violent extremism. Fortunately, violent extremism is a rare occurrence in the United States. Outreach efforts will be more effective if they focus on issues that have the greatest impact on people's lives. Building resilience to violent extremism can be part of this effort, but should not be the primary focus.
Third, make sure that outreach and engagement personnel are separate from intelligence and investigation units. It will be impossible to establish trust if community members suspect that outreach officers are collecting information on community members. Now, even though outreach officers do not collect intelligence, they are duty-bound to report information they receive about potential criminal conduct. Outreach officers should be candid that if they receive information from community members, they will pass it on to appropriate authorities. Transparency about this policy will help to build rather than undermine confidence and trust.
Fourth, we recommend that police work with communities to develop non-law enforcement interventions. Developing these alternatives to criminal prosecution is a critical but underdeveloped area. Outreach and engagement programs will not successfully cultivate trust if the only result from cooperation with police is a criminal investigation of a young community member. Community members are far more supportive of intervention programs that focus on redirecting youth away from violent extremist ideologies and toward more productive activities.
Fifth, we recommend that all department members, including civilians, receive cultural awareness training, and that outreach and engagement officers receive basic language training too. This kind of training will help the police interact appropriately with the diverse populations they serve. We found widespread support for using community members to provide this training to officers. Doing so gives community members a chance to explain their culture or religion with pride, and is a great way to build connections between the department and community members.
Sixth, police departments should hire a diverse workforce that reflects the composition of the community. This sends a message of inclusion to the community and establishes role models for community youth. Police officers with diverse backgrounds do not need to be assigned outreach responsibilities and should not be pigeonholed into such roles. In fact, our research showed that the best indicator for success is for an outreach officer to have a personality that fits this role. The successful outreach officers we identified are open-minded, sincere in their efforts, and eager to learn about other cultures. They enjoy interacting with others and respect people from different cultural traditions and economic circumstances. They are willing to admit mistakes and are not easily discouraged.
Seventh, outreach and engagement efforts will be more successful if police departments partner with social service and mental health providers, schools, and other relevant local government agencies. Networks of agencies will be more effective at meeting the diverse needs of communities and individuals.
Finally, the police should educate community members about law enforcement policies and practices, including their commitment to protect civil rights and liberties. This education can be accomplished formally through programs like citizen police academies, or more informally through meetings and briefings with community members. For example, police should strive to demystify police operations by explaining policies regarding surveillance in order to undermine known sources of mistrust.
In summary, our 8 recommendations are: 1. Use a whole-of-community approach. 2. Establish trust by addressing the needs of the community. 3. Separate outreach and engagement functions from intelligence collection and criminal investigation. 4. Develop non-law enforcement intervention alternatives.
5. Provide cultural awareness and basic language training. 6. Hire a diverse workforce that reflects the composition of the community. 7. Partner with other local agencies and service providers. 8. Educate community members on law enforcement policies and practices.
Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to download the executive summary or full report, they are available on the website for the Triangle Center on Homeland Security at Duke University. Also, feel free to contact us at the email addresses listed below.